The spaceport on the moon of Selim was always full of noise. Ships came and went every hour. Traders shouted. Robots rolled across the floor. But Leo didn't mind the noise. He liked working with machines more than talking to people. He was a young engineer from Earth, and today he was helping deliver medical supplies to a small hospital near Dock 7. Leo walked through the crowded area with a box in his hands. His ship Aurora was parked just a few rows away. As he passed by the storage bays, he saw something that made him stop. In the shadow of a cargo crate, a figure sat very still. It was a woman, an alien woman. Her skin was light blue with soft feathers on her head and arms. She looked weak, tired, and dirty. Her silver-gray robe was torn, and her eyes were half closed. People passed by her without looking, some even walked around like she didn't exist. Leo frowned. That's not right, he whispered. He set down his box and stepped closer. Hey, he said in a calm voice. Are you okay? The alien woman didn't reply. She flinched slightly, like she thought he would hit her. Leo raised both hands to show he meant no harm. I'm not here to hurt you, he said softly. My name's Leo. I'm from Earth. Do you need help? She finally looked at him. Her golden eyes blinked slowly. She seemed confused, maybe scared. I cannot speak long, she said in a quiet voice. My master will return. Leo's chest tightened. He looked at her wrist. There was a silver tag on it, glowing with a red light. A scan tag. He pulled out his datapad and scanned it, just to check. What he saw made him angry. Property of Laxan Trade Guild species, Aurelianum. Ziri status, indentured worker to 5 years served indentured. Leo said to himself. She's a slave. The Aurelian woman, Ziri lowered her eyes. Please go. If they see you talking to me, they will punish you. Leo shook his head. You shouldn't be treated like this. This isn't right. Ziri looked at him with wide eyes. Why do you care? She asked slowly. Humans do not stop them. Humans buy from them too. Leo sat down cross-legged in front of her. Not all humans. On Earth, we stopped this kind of thing a long time ago. We believe everyone deserves freedom, no matter where they're from. Ziri watched him carefully. I've never heard a human say such things. Well, Leo said with a small smile, then maybe it's time someone did. He reached into his bag and pulled out a nutrient bar and a bottle of clean water. Here, take this. You look hungry. Ziri looked at the food but did not move. I cannot pay, she said. It's not for sale. It's a gift. Ziri hesitated, then slowly reached out and took the bottle. Her hands trembled as she opened it and took small sips. After a moment, she took a bite of the nutrient bar. It was plain, but to her it tasted better than anything she had in weeks. You're very kind, she whispered. But they will not let me go. Leo looked serious. How long have you worked for them? 5 years, she said. Leo's eyes narrowed. That's too long. Even under old treaties, that's past the limit. Ziri didn't answer. She just looked at the ground. Leo stood up. I'm going to help you, Ziri. You don't deserve this. I'll talk to the consulate. There are rules. I know some people. Who can help? Ziri looked up quickly. No, please. If they find out, they will hurt someone. Maybe even you. Leo shook his head. Let them try. I don't believe in walking away when someone needs help. Just then, a loud voice called, out from behind a metal crate,
Ziri.
Where are you hiding now? Ziri's body stiffened. Her feathers twitched in fear. Leo leaned close and whispered, Meet me at Dock 17 tonight. Midnight. If you want to leave this life, I'll be waiting. Ziri gave a tiny nod. Then she quickly stood and walked toward the voice. Leo watched her. Go! He picked up his box and started walking back to his ship. His mind was full of thoughts. He didn't know how hard this would be, but he knew one thing for sure. He would not ignore what he saw. Not today. Inside the ship, Aurora. His pilot friend Mia was checking the engine readings. You look like you saw a ghost, she said. Leo sat down beside her. Not a ghost. A slave. Mia raised an eyebrow. On Selim? That's not legal anymore. Yeah, well, they're hiding it under old trade contracts. I met someone, her name's Ziri. She's a Rolian. I want to help. Mia nodded slowly. You sure you want to get involved in this? Leo looked out the window at the busy port. If we don't, then who will? Mia smiled. All right then, let's make a plan. Far away, Ziri returned to her place near the storage crates. Her mind was spinning. No one had ever looked at her like that before. No one had ever spoken with such calm. That human. He didn't treat her like a thing. He called her by her name. He gave her food without asking anything in return. She held the half-eaten bar in her hands and looked up at the stars above Selim. Maybe, just maybe, there was still hope. The sky over Selim's spaceport was dark and quiet. Now the noise of the day had faded. Most traders were asleep or inside their ships. The stars above looked sharp and cold, but the soft lights on the docking bays gave the area a calm glow. Leo stood near Dock 17, his back resting against a tall storage container. He checked his watch again. 5 minutes to midnight, he looked. A round eye scanning every shadow. His heart beat faster than usual. What if she didn't come? What if they caught her? Mia's voice came through his small earpiece. Still no sign? Not yet, Leo whispered. You sure she'd come? Leo nodded to himself. She wants to be free. I could see it in her eyes. A minute passed, then another. Suddenly he heard light footsteps. Leo turned quickly. From behind a cargo unit, Ziri stepped into view. She was wearing the same torn robe, but she had tied a cloth around her tag to hide it. Her face was pale, and she looked nervous, but she was there. You came, Leo said with relief. Ziri nodded slowly. You came too. Leo gave a small smile. I always keep my word. She looked around. If they find me missing, they will search. Then we don't have much time, Leo said. Come with me. Talk on my ship. Ziri followed him through the quiet docking area. They walked quickly, but carefully, staying in the shadows. Leo led her to the small ramp of his ship Aurora. Silver-blue vessel, just big enough for 2 or 3 crew members. Inside, the ship was warm and clean. The control room had blinking lights and soft humming sounds. Ziri looked around with wide eyes. She had never stepped inside a human ship before. Mia stood near the console. She gave Ziri a kind smile. You must be Ziri. I'm Mia. Welcome aboard. Ziri bowed her head. Thank you for letting me come here. You're safe now, Leo said as he guided her to a seat. We won't let anyone take you back. Ziri sat down slowly, still unsure. Why are you helping me? You do not know me. I have nothing to offer. You don't have to offer anything, Leo replied. You're a person. That's enough. Mia walked over with a blanket. You look cold. Here, take this. Ziri took the blanket and wrapped it around her shoulders. It was soft and warm. And for the first time in many years, she felt comfort. Leo pulled up a hologram on the screen. It showed old trade laws and interplanetary agreements between Earth and other worlds. Look, he said. The law says no being can be kept in service more than 3 Aurolian years. You said you've worked for 5. That means your contract is invalid. They've broken the rules. Ziri looked at the screen, unsure what to think. Told me I had no rights. They said Aurolians gave away their claims. That's not true, Mia said. The Aurolian Council signed a treaty, still active. You've been tricked, Ziri. Ziri sat very still. Her hands gripped the blanket tightly. All this time, I believed I had no choice. I thought this was my life forever. You have a choice now, Leo said. We can help you file a release petition through the Earth's consulate. But it may take a few days. You'll need to stay hidden here. Ziri looked up. If they find me on your ship, you will get in trouble. We'll take that risk, Mia said firmly. We're not afraid. Ziri looked between them, unsure what to say. I don't know how to thank you. You don't have to, Leo said. I'm not doing this for a reward. For a long moment, silence filled the room. Ziri slowly lowered her head, and a tear fell from her golden eye. She wiped it quickly, a little embarrassed. Leo saw it but said nothing. He could feel how heavy her heart was. After a few minutes, he stood up. "You should rest. There's a small cabin down the hall. Mia will show you." Ziri followed Mia to the back of the ship. The room was small, but it had a bed, soft lights, and a small window that showed the stars outside. "This is yours now," Mia said kindly. "No chains, no locks. You can come and go freely." Ziri stood by the bed, unsure if she should sit. "Are you sure?" "Yes," Mia said. "Completely sure." Ziri sat down gently, as if the bed might disappear. Hand touched the pillow. It was soft, something she hadn't felt in years. She looked out the window, and for the first time, the stars looked beautiful again. Back in the control room, Leo stared at the documents. "This won't be easy," he said. "The Laxan Guild has power here. They'll try to stop us." Mia leaned on the console, "But we have truth on our side, stronger than power." Leo nodded. "She's already been through so much. We can't fail her now." Mia smiled. "We won't." That night, as Aurora floated quietly at Dock 17, a new journey had begun. It was not just a mission to free one woman, it was a step toward something greater. Inside her cabin, Ziri lay awake, staring at the stars. She still could not believe. It, a human to humans, had shown her kindness without asking anything in return. She did not know why they cared. But their words and actions were real. For the first time in many seasons, she felt something she thought was lost forever. Hope. The next morning on the ship Aurora, the air was calm. The engines were off. The lights dim. Outside the ship, the spaceport of Silim slowly came back to life. Traders prepared their cargo. Small cleaning bots rolled over the floor. But inside Aurora, a quiet mission was starting. Leo sat at the table with his tablet open. Screens showed pages of space laws, trade rules, and treaties. His eyes scanned, each line carefully. Mia brought him a hot drink and sat beside him. "Any progress?" she asked. Leo nodded slowly. "Yes, the Earth-Aurolian agreement is still active. Article 12 clearly says no Aurolian can serve more than 3 years in labor outside their homeworld. Ziri has already done 5, so legally she's free?" Mia asked. Leo looked up. "Exactly. They broke the rule. You can file a case at the local Earth consulate. But we need proof. We have to be very careful." At that moment, Ziri stepped into the room. She wore a clean gray shirt and soft shoes that Mia had given her. Her feathers were smoother now, her eyes a little brighter. "Good morning," she said softly. Leo smiled. "Morning, Ziri? Did you sleep well?" Ziri nodded. Yes, it felt strange. "I kept thinking I would wake up back in the cold room, but I didn't." Mia offered her a cup of warm juice. "You're safe now. No one will hurt you here." Ziri took the drink and sat with them. She looked at the screen filled with documents. "What are you doing?" Leo turned the screen so she could see. "We're building your case. This shows that you've already completed more than the allowed years of work. If we take this to the consulate, they can order your release." Ziri stared at the documents. "But will they believe me? I have no records. I was not allowed to keep anything." Mia leaned forward. "That's okay. We'll use your wrist. Tag. It holds the service data. If we extract it, it'll show the time you were assigned and how long you served." Ziri touched her wrist. "But the tag is locked." Leo grinned. "Good thing I know how to unlock it." They laughed quietly. Together it was a small moment, but it meant something. Ziri was starting to feel less like a prisoner and more like a person. Later that day, Leo carefully removed the tag from Ziri's wrist. He used small tools and a steady hand. Once the tag came off, he plugged it into a scanner. The screen showed the data assigned. Laxan Trade Guild, year 4211, 5.2 years ago. Location, Selim Trade Port status. Active indenture non-renewable. Leo pointed at the date. "This is what we need." Ziri looked at her wrist, now free of the device. "I wore it for so long. I forgot what it felt like to be without it. Mia put a hand on her shoulder. You don't have to wear it ever again. Leo stood. Now, we just need one more. Think a signed report from someone who saw your condition. Someone not from the ship. Ziri looked down. There is one worker. His name is Bryn. He cleans the floors at night. Sometimes gave me water when no one was looking. Perfect, Mia said. Can you trust him? I think so, Ziri replied. He is afraid too. But maybe he will help. Leo nodded. We'll go see him tonight. That evening, Leo and Ziri walked through the spaceport together. Ziri wore a hood to hide her face. She stayed close to Leo, still nervous. They reached the lower levels. Where the cleaning units and workers stayed, they found Bren sitting near a stack of crates, fixing a broken mop droid. He was a short alien with green eyes and 4 thin arms. When he saw Ziri, he stood up quickly. Ziri, you're alive. Ziri smiled a little. Yes, I escaped. Bren looked at Leo, unsure. Is he safe? Ziri nodded. He helped me. And his friend? Bren relaxed a bit. I'm glad. I worried when I didn't see you today. Leo stepped forward. Bren, we need your help. Want to report the guild for keeping Ziri past her time, but we need a witness. Someone who saw. How they treated her? Bren looked scared. If they find out I spoke, we'll keep your name secret, Leo said. But your words could help free her and others too. Bren was quiet for a moment. Then he nodded. Okay, I'll tell the truth. She worked hard. They gave her no rest. I saw her faint once and they still made her clean. Il recorded the statement on his device. Thank you, Bren. You did the right thing. Ziri touched Bren's hand. I will never forget this. They returned to Aurora quickly. Mia was waiting. Leo showed her the recorded file. We've got it. The tag data, the treaty, and the witness report. Now we're ready, Mia smiled. Tomorrow we take it to the consulate. Ziri looked at both of them. If this works, I will be free. Leo nodded. Yes, truly free. Ziri took a deep breath. Then I will hope again. That night, Ziri went to her small room and looked at her reflection in the mirror. She touched her face, her eyes, her feathers. For the first time, she saw not a worker, not a tool, but herself. The next morning came with soft yellow light over the Selim spaceport. It was calm outside, but inside Aurora, things were serious. Leo stood near the table, double-checking all the documents. Ziri sat beside him, quietly watching his hands move. Mia stood near the door, ready for anything. Everything's ready, Leo said. We have the scan tag data, the trade law files, and Bren's statement. We'll take it all to the Earth consulate now. Ziri nodded slowly. I'm scared, but I'm also ready. Leo smiled. That's enough. You don't have to be brave alone. The Earth's consulate was not far from Dock 5. It was a tall, silver building with glass windows and clean signs. 2 guards stood at the front, but they didn't stop Leo and the others. The consulate was a safe place for anyone seeking help inside. The front desk was managed by a young woman named Clara. She wore a blue uniform and smiled kindly. Can I help you? She asked. Leo stepped forward. Yes, we're here to file a release petition for an indentured Aurolian worker. Her contract time has passed and we have proof. Clara's smile faded a little. She looked at Ziri and then back at Leo. You have the documents? Leo handed her the data pad. Clara checked everything carefully. She tapped on the screen and read through each file. After a few minutes, she looked up. This is strong, she said. You have a clear case. The consul will want to see this right away. She stood and led them into a meeting room. Inside, a tall man with gray hair and a calm voice sat behind a desk. His name tag read, Consul Dirin. He looked up as they entered. Please sit down, he said politely. Leo introduced himself, Mia, and Ziri. Then he explained the whole situation, how Ziri had served 5 years under the Loxan Trade Guild, how the tag data proved her time, and how the witness supported her story. Consul Dirin listened carefully. He did not interrupt. When Leo finished, the room was quiet. Then the consul nodded slowly. You are correct. According to Earth Aurolian Treaty Law, Article 12, All work contracts must end after 3 local years. 5. That is a clear violation. Ziri's hands trembled. Then, I can go home. Yes, Consul Diran said. But we must file this properly. We'll sign the release order, but it must be presented to the overseer of the Laxan Guild. They must release you by law. If they do not, we will report them to the Trade Council. Mia stood. When do we go? Right now, the consul said. I will go with you. They left the consulate as a group and made their way to the guild office.
Jackson!
Trade Guild controlled several bays on Sealam. Their office was large, with gold signs and security. Bots at the entrance. Inside, the air smelled of oil and metal. At the desk sat a heavy man with short brown hair. His name was Overseer Bran. He wore a dark red jacket and gold pins. When he saw Ziri, his eyes narrowed. You again, he said, sharply. You were not given permission to leave your post. Leo stepped forward. She doesn't need your permission. She's free. Her contract has passed the legal time. We have all the proof, and the consul is here to confirm it. Overseer Bran stood up, annoyed. That contract is private. You have no right to interfere. Consul Diran stepped forward. It's the Earth Consul. I have every right. This case breaks trade law. Here is the signed release order. You are required to remove her indenture and clear her records immediately. Bran's face turned red. This is nonsense. She still owes service time. We gave her food and shelter.
Ow.
Food and shelter do not cancel the law, Leo said. You used her for 5 years. She was never told her contract had limits. That's wrong. Ziri stood quietly, her hands clenched. Bran looked at her with a bitter smile. So, now you stand tall? Just because some humans hold your hand? Ziri took a breath. For the first time she spoke clearly and firmly. No, I stand tall because I am not afraid anymore. You cannot own me. There was silence in the room. Bran glared at her, then looked at the consul. Fine, take her, but this is not over. Consul Diran handed the release order to Bran. It is over. If you try to harm her or chase her again, I will bring this to the trade union, and they do not forgive violations. Bran sat down angrily. Take your papers and leave. Leo turned to Ziri. Let's go. As they walked out, Ziri felt like her body had become lighter. The sky above the spaceport seemed brighter, the air fresher. She wasn't just walking out of a building, she was walking into freedom. Back on Aurora, Mia hugged Ziri the moment. They stepped inside. You did it. You're free. Ziri smiled. It was a real smile, wide and bright. We did it. Leo sat down and let out a long breath. That man was stubborn, but the law was on our side. Ziri sat beside them.
Ink!
You, both of you. I never believed such kindness could exist. You deserve it, Mia said. Everyone does. Leo nodded. Now that you're free, what will you do next? Ziri looked at the stars through the window. I want to go home, to Aurelia. But before that I want to help others. There are more like me, still trapped, still afraid. Leo smiled. Then let's help them. One by one. And so, the small ship Aurora sat quietly at Dock 17, its lights glowing softly. Inside, a new team had formed, not just of humans and aliens, but of people who believed in justice, hope, and doing what was right. Ziri stood at the window of the ship Aurora, watching the stars. Her golden eyes reflected the light of a passing ship. She didn't blink. She didn't move. She just stood still, letting the truth sink in. She was free. No control tag, no overseer, no fear of punishment. It didn't feel real yet. Behind her, the door to the control room opened. Leo stepped inside, holding a cup of warm tea. Hey, he said gently. I thought you might want something hot. Ziri turned slowly. Thank you, she said as she took the cup. You were always kind, Leo smiled. You're welcome. You doing okay? Ziri nodded. Yes, but it still feels strange. For many years I could not make my own choices. Now I don't know what to do first. That's normal, Leo said as he sat beside her. You don't need to rush. Just take one step at a time. She looked down at the tea. It smelled sweet and calming. She took a small sip and closed her eyes. I didn't think I would survive, she said softly. There were days I thought I would fade away in the storage halls, and no one would even notice. Leo listened quietly, but then Ziri continued, You came. A stranger, a human. I thought you would walk away like the others, but you stayed. Leo looked at her kindly. Couldn't just walk away, Ziri. What happened to you was wrong. Ziri turned back to the window. On my planet, we teach that kindness is light in the dark. I had forgotten that light. Until now. Mia's voice came through the speaker. Leo, Ziri, come to the main room. I have something to show you.
Wait.
They both stood and made their way to the front room of the ship. Mia stood by the main screen, a big smile on her face. I just got a reply from the Earth Aurolian Outreach Network, she said excitedly. They received Ziri's case file and said they want to help more Aurolians. Ziri's eyes widened. They believe my story completely, Mia said, and they're going to share it with others. Quietly, of course. But your story will reach many people. Leo walked over to the screen. They're asking if we'd be willing to help in other cases. More workers like Ziri are still in hiding, still waiting for someone to help. Ziri stepped forward. Yes, I want to help. Mia raised her eyebrows. Are you sure you just got your freedom? I am sure, Ziri said with strength in her voice. If I can stop even one more person from feeling what I felt, it will be worth it. Leo and Mia exchanged a look. Then Leo smiled. All right. Then, let's prepare. They spent the next few hours planning. Ziri told them about areas in the trade port where hidden workers stayed. Small rooms, old storage bays, and forgotten tunnels. She had seen others like herself silent, tired and afraid. Mia created a map and marked possible locations. Leo packed medical kits, food, and blankets. We can't save everyone at once, Leo said. But we'll start small. One person at a time. Ziri nodded. That is enough. That evening, the team left the ship quietly. They wore simple clothes and carried small bags so no one would suspect anything. Ziri led the way through the quieter parts of the port where no tourists or guards went. She stopped at a back wall and knocked gently in a slow pattern. After a few seconds, a small panel opened. A pair of scared eyes looked out. It's me, Ziri whispered. I am free now. These humans help me. You can trust them. The door opened slightly. A young Aurolian girl stepped out. Her feathers were dirty, and she looked thin. Ziri knelt beside her and held her hand. We're going to take you somewhere. Safe, Ziri said. No more hiding. The girl nodded slowly. By the end of the night, they had helped 3 more workers, 2 Aurolians, and 1 small alien from another world. Each of them was given food, rest, and a chance to speak freely. Back on Aurora, Ziri watched them rest in the spare room. One of them was crying softly, not from pain, but from relief. Leo stood beside her. You did something amazing today. Looked at him. We did it together. Mia joined them with a tablet in hand. I've sent the records to the outreach network. They'll send transport ships to take these people to recovery centers. Ziri turned to her friends. Do you think we can keep doing this? Leo answered without pause. Yes. As long as there are people in need, we'll keep helping. Ziri smiled. It was no longer a small, weak smile. It was full of purpose. That night, she sat alone in the quiet room again. Looking out at the stars, she didn't feel lost anymore. She didn't feel forgotten. She felt strong. She felt free. And she knew this was just the beginning. A soft light filled the inside of the ship Aurora as it floated in orbit above Saloom. The engines were quiet, and the crew was calm. Inside, something important was happening. Ziri stood beside Mia at the main console. A small camera hovered in front of her. The lens glowed with a blue light. Ziri looked nervous, but Mia smiled gently and placed a hand on her shoulder. You're doing great, Mia said. Just speak from your heart. You don't need to be perfect. Ziri nodded slowly. She took a deep breath. I am Ziri of the Aurolian people, she began. For many years, I lived in silence, trapped by a false contract. I believed I had no choice, but I was wrong. She looked directly into the camera. Kindness saved me. Leo and Mia, two humans from Earth, chose to help me. They did not ask for anything in return. They listened. They believed me. They helped me find freedom. She paused, her golden eyes bright with emotion. There are many others like me, still hiding, still afraid. If you are one of them, please know there is hope. And if you are someone who can help, I ask you to do so. One small act of kindness can change a life. The camera slowly turned off. The room was quiet. Mia smiled again. That was perfect. Ziri let out a slow breath. I was afraid I would say the wrong thing. Leo entered the room, holding a data chip. You didn't. That message came from your heart. It will mean something to others. Mia plugged the message into the ship's transmitter, ready to send it to the outreach network. Leo nodded. Send it. With one press of a button, Ziri's message began its journey. It traveled through space relays and signal towers, reaching different stations and hidden communities. It moved quietly, without noise or glory, but it carried something powerful: truth and hope. A few days later, the Aurora landed on a small station known as Relno 4. It was not a famous place. The buildings were old and the landing pads were cracked. But something was different this time. As Leo and Ziri walked through the docking bay, a young alien boy ran up to them. He had short green hair and wide silver eyes. Are you Ziri? He asked in a soft voice. Ziri stopped in surprise. Yes, I am. The boy looked around, then pulled a small paper from his pocket. It was a printed picture of Ziri from her video. My sister is still on Selim, he whispered. She is working for the same guild. I want to help her. Can you tell me what to do? Ziri knelt down. Yes. I will help you. The boy's face filled with hope. More people began to approach them quietly, slowly. A small crowd gathered near the edge of the market. Some held data pads. Others had only questions in their eyes. One woman, thin and tired-looking, stepped forward. I saw your message, she said. I thought it was a lie, but you are real. Ziri nodded. Yes, I am real. And so is freedom. Leo whispered to Mia through his earpiece. We're not just a rescue team anymore. We've started something bigger, Mia replied. Then we keep going. We guide it. That night, the crew of Aurora sat together in the ship's main room. Ziri looked around the table. There were now 6 others with them, former workers from different ports. Some were Aurolian, others from different species, all with quiet eyes and soft voices. They had been saved over the past week, one at a time, quietly, carefully. Ziri had spoken to each one. She had listened to their stories and reminded them that they were not alone. Mia poured warm drinks for everyone. We'll rest here tonight. Then tomorrow, we move to the next station. Leo opened a new file on his tablet. We've been asked to join a communication group formed by other helpers across different planets. They call it Project Lantern. Ziri looked up. Lantern. Leo nodded. Yes, because a lantern gives light in the dark, just like your message did. Ziri smiled softly. Then we must carry the light further. The next morning, they received a message from the Earth Aurolian Outreach Network. Message received: your story has been shared across 11 stations. Reports of contract violations are increasing. Small. No. Groups are forming to protect freed workers. You are not alone. Ziri read the message 3 times. Her hands shook slightly. I never imagined this, she said. Mia stood beside her. You started a wave, Ziri, and now it's spreading. Leo tapped a new route into the ship's navigation system. There's another port to Dezawajuno. Station a worker there sent a hidden signal. I say we go. Ziri nodded without hesitation. Yes, let's go. As the Aurora left Relna 4 and moved back into the stars, Ziri stood once more at the window. The stars looked different now. Not cold or empty, but full of promise. Each light out there might hold another story, another person waiting for help. Another voice ready to rise. Ziri placed her hand gently against the glass. I was once a slave, she whispered, but now I am a voice, and I will not be silent. Leo stood behind her. You're more than a voice, Ziri. You're a guide. Together we'll keep moving forward. The ship hummed gently as it flew through the dark space. But inside, there was light strong, steady and growing. The ship Aurora moved smoothly through the stars, heading toward Juno Station. Inside, Ziri stood by the control window, watching as the bright lights of the station grew larger. Her heart beat faster, not with fear, but with purpose. This was the last rescue stop in their current mission. One more person had sent a signal, asking for help. Ziri didn't know who it was yet, but she knew how they felt. Lost, trapped, alone. She remembered those feelings well. Leo entered the control room with a small pack on his shoulder. We'll land in 10 minutes. Docking Bay 4. Ziri nodded. Do we have a plan? Mia joined them with a digital map. We do. The message came from an old storage bay near the back of the station. Security is light there. We go quietly, stay alert, and return quickly. Ziri looked at them both. Matter who we find, we help them. Leo smiled. That's what we do now. The landing was smooth. The Aurora touched down with barely a sound. The docking area was dusty and quiet, far from the busy parts of the station. Perfect for their mission. Ziri led the way. She wore a plain gray robe and walked with calm confidence. Mia followed with her scanner in hand, and Leo checked the path. With a small map on his tablet, they reached the storage area. It was old, with cracked walls and rusty doors. Ziri knocked gently on a side panel 3 soft taps. A pause, then 2 more. It was the signal she had used before. No answer. She tried. Again, finally a soft voice came from inside. Who are you? Ziri leaned close to the door. My name is Ziri. I was like you once. We've come to help. The door opened slowly. Inside stood a tall young woman with deep blue skin and silver eyes. She looked scared, her body thin, her clothes torn. You are the one from the message, the woman said. I saw you. I didn't know if it was real. Ziri reached out her hand. It's real. You're not alone anymore. The woman took her hand. My name is Arya. Stepped forward. We'll take you somewhere safe, Arya. You don't have to stay here anymore. Arya's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. I waited so long. Thought no one would come. Ziri helped her walk back to the ship. As they moved through the hallways, something strange happened. More quiet faces appeared, others hiding. In the shadows, watching with wide eyes, a small boy stepped out from behind a crate. Are you taking people away to freedom? Ziri knelt beside him. Yes. Do you need help? He nodded quickly by the time they returned to the ship. There were 7 new passengers, 7 people who had been waiting, hoping, hiding. Now, they were finally free. Back on the Aurora, Ziri helped Arya drink some water and lie down on a soft seat. The others were resting, eating, or speaking in low voices. Mia walked over, holding a data pad. The outreach network just confirmed there. Sending a transport ship to pick up the group. It'll arrive in 2 hours. Ziri nodded. Good, they need care, and more than we can give here. Leo sat down beside her. This may be the last mission for a while. After this, we're scheduled to return to Earth. The outreach team wants to meet with us. Ziri looked at him. What for? Leo smiled. They want to give you an award. For courage, leadership, and peace work. Ziri blinked in surprise. An award? Yes, Mia said, joining them. Your message has reached. Over 50 space stations now. People are forming their own teams, inspired by you. Ziri looked down. I never wanted praise. I just wanted to help. And you did, Leo said. More than you know. 2 hours later, the outreach transport arrived. It was large and clean, with a team of medics and peace officers. The rescued group was guided safely onto the ship. Each person smiled at Ziri, thanked her, and held her hand before leaving. Arya was the last to step aboard. She turned to Ziri and said, I will never forget your voice. You were the light in my darkness. Ziri held her hands. No, you must. Be the light for someone else. The transport door closed slowly, and the ship lifted off into the stars. Ziri stood quietly, watching it go. Later that night, the Aurora began its journey back toward Earth. Ziri sat in her room, writing in a small journal Mia had given her. It was filled with simple pages and soft paper. She wrote, "Today, 7 more found freedom. I saw their faces, full of fear and full of hope. I remember when I was like them, but now I am strong. I am not alone. I am not a slave. I am Ziri. I am free." She closed the book and smiled. A few days later, the Aurora landed on Earth for the first time. The planet was green and beautiful. The air was fresh. Ziri stepped onto the ground, feeling grass under her feet. They were welcomed by the Earth Aurolian Outreach Network at the Unity Hall. The building was filled with peaceful music and smiling people. Flags from many worlds hung from the ceiling. Kind woman in a silver robe stepped onto the stage. "Today we honor a hero, not for power, but for heart." Ziri of Aurolia showed us what courage looks like. Ziri was called forward. She stood before the crowd. Her hands shook slightly, but her voice was calm. "I accept this not for myself," she said, "but for every voice that was once silent. I was helped by 2 humans who believed in kindness. Because of them, I found my voice. And now, I will help others find theirs." The room filled with applause. Leo and Mia stood at her side. They smiled proudly. That night, as stars appeared in the sky above Earth, Ziri stood on a small hill. She looked up, just as she used to do from the spaceport window. But now, everything was different. She was no longer hidden, no longer afraid. She was a guide, a helper, a symbol of hope, and her journey was far from over.